easy to use. So call my time, but you weren't really mine, just something to do. Thought I never knew. No surprise, but nevertheless, I'm still stuck in self-defense. No surprise, but nevertheless, I
Yo! What's going on, everybody? Talk to me. Do you hear me? Is the mic coming through? Was I loud enough? Let me know if you can hear me. Let's get things going. We got a few things to talk about today, folks. We got some things to talk about today. But I need to know, because sometimes I'm technically illiterate. Not in the charts, but via technology. Can you hear me? That's all I need to know is, can you hear me? I'm still getting used to this stuff, man. I know, it's like, Kev, you've been making videos now for like, shoot, almost a year, right? And, I stream on occasion, but I'm going to start streaming a lot more. I told you that. I made you guys a promise that I was going to start streaming more as we get through the end of the year. And obviously, going into next year, I want to stream way more because you guys like the streams, and streams get a lot of views. And, it's nice to be able to just answer questions on the fly. I don't have to think as much about what I'm going to say. I can kind of just answer your questions. And I don't have a ton of time today. I got so much going on. But big moves, right? There's big moves going on. And I'm going to find time to get on here and talk to you because they should not be ignored, okay? They should not be ignored. And we're not going to ignore it because guess what? There's a lot of things that we've been talking about. You're looking at this chart right now, the USDT dominance chart. And I know still to this day that a lot of people are like, what the heck is this USDT dominance chart? It doesn't get a ton of engagement. You know what I mean? It's not like some flashy engagement chart because people don't know what it really is. But in reality, it's the most important chart, right? Bitcoin and USDT dominance in tandem are the most important charts. And, it's just critical that we use this chart as our second pair of eyes in the market. We've been talking about bearish divergences on the 2-week time frame. Money flow, momentum, strength indicators are looking weaker and weaker on USDT dominance. We talk about the resemblance to 2022 and 2023. And now look today, right? And just one day. It's one day, so let's not get crazy here. Oh my God. We still got work to do. There's tons of work that needs to be done. But it's the early signs that the rotation is coming, okay? Today is maybe a reminder to people that you should not get overly bearish in the late summer, early fall in the bear market. Remember something, right? Let's just get down to brass tacks for a second. I know everyone likes to say the bear market started in October, blah, 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 blah. Bitcoin wasn't doing anything in the summer last year. August and September were terrible for Bitcoin. So, while Bitcoin wasn't going down, it was kind of hanging around its highs. It wasn't doing anything. So you can make the argument that for a year straight, literally an entire year, Bitcoin has done nothing but either trade sideways or go down. And now that we're 365 days into that, and then, from a technical standpoint, I guess you could say the bear market is, again, right? A couple months here, 60-something days? Close, if you use that as a gauge to being over? I've been saying this a lot, right? I've been saying it. Getting overly bearish is a mistake. That's it. That's all I've been saying nonstop. Q3, Q4, getting overly bearish. Even if this USDT dominance chart reverses course and Bitcoin goes to 56 to 44K, it swipes the 2-year liquidity. It sees one more flush down like it did in November of 2022. Even if that were to occur, it's still a mistake to be overly bearish because of the fact that the 2-week time frame indicators on USDT dominance look the way they look. Because of the fact that the IGV has bottomed. Tech software ETF, which is almost 1-to-1 correlated with Bitcoin. My Bitcoin roadmap, from a portfolio management perspective, has said DCA from the summer until the end of the year, and you will be set up in a good position for gains in the coming years after when it comes to crypto. Same with tech software. I've been doing it the same exact way because they're so correlated. There's no reason to overcomplicate it, right? You don't want to get overcomplicated at this point. You want to use the higher time frame indicators on USDT dominance as your data-backed analysis in order to properly portfolio manage. So it's not just blind portfolio management, obviously using data. And if that data is supportive, if you're in the realm of a bottoming range, right, 20% range, we'll call it, that's a good area to start buying, right? You're down 50+%, 55%. You're in a 20% bottoming range. That could occur. You're at that higher end of that range. What's stopping anyone from, if you're a believer, right? If maybe you're not a believer. I'm a believer in Bitcoin, right? If you're a believer, then that's a good area to start properly DCAing back into the market. And I still stand by that. I stand by it fully. And that's what I've been doing. And, it's just one of those things, right? I tweeted this earlier. I said, I think a lot of people are going to end up sidelined again, like they were in 2023, 2022, because this happened in 2022 and 2023, right? Everyone thought, Bitcoin was just going to keep going down forever. But in reality, USDT dominance looked just like this, just like it looks now, the same exact way. And I started DCAing back into Bitcoin in the summertime, right? Around July. And I just kept DCAing throughout the rest of I didn't DCA up until December. I think I stopped DCAing, I don't know, I think in October, in November. I had one more buy in November, and then I just stopped. And that was it. And then I just held. And, I had like an $18,900 price average. And I rode that all the way up into the mid 100Ks and then sold. So that's it. You know what I mean? It's that simple, right? If the asset has value, if it has demand, and it's oversold on higher time frames at major support levels and building divergences, well, you got to put your investor cap on eventually, right? I mean, you can't just sit there and just be bearish forever, right? I don't want to be bearish forever. I've been bearish this whole year. I shorted Bitcoin from 97 to 60. I shorted Bitcoin again from 79 to 63. I did my dues, right? I made some money on those shorts, really good money on the first one for sure. But again, it's, it gets to a point where it's like, all right, well, what's the data look like? Does it say that we should still be super bearish and just only fixated on that idea? That's a mistake. That's where you start making mistakes, right? Don't get obsessed with being a bear ever, right? Because at the end of the day, the market does trend up with time, and that's just the way it works. But let me look at the chat. What's going on? Charles says, Kev, what the F is happening? Thanks for doing this live stream at a time I don't sleep, Kev. I know you don't sleep, brother. We got a famous person in the chat, folks. We got a famous person in here. Rito, I think it's Rito or Rido. I think I'm going to call it Rito. What's going on, man? I don't think I've ever seen you in here before. I don't know. You don't look too familiar to me, but good to see you, man. Rufinix says, big pump, possible bigger dump, then back bullish, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. Like, listen, that's the perfect, I'm not hating on you, brother. I'm not hating on you. You're right. This is what most people are thinking. That thinking is a mistake right now, right? That's what I've been saying. I haven't even really been analyzing Bitcoin that much, right? I kind of just staying away from talking about it too much during sideways periods because I know, right? I've played this rodeo before. It's like living it all over again, except I don't want to jinx it. I'm not even going to say it. I'm not even going to say that. I'm not going to say the EASIER word this time around. But it feels that way because once you've seen it occur and you kind of realize like, okay, I'm a good analyst. I know how to pinpoint bottoms. I know how to find what needs to be found in order to spot reversals. I know how to portfolio manage. Yeah, there's not really a reason to complicate this too much. Like, we're at a certain point in this cyclical bear market phase that Bitcoin seems to run in, and the indicators on the higher time frames look really, really good on USDT dominance in a sense of it's in this wave 5 move at its previous all-time high. Got a 2-week reversal candle, right? Look at your momentum waves, okay? We talk about this in my last videos, right? It looks very similar to 2022 and early 2023. You got 2-week time frame sell signals with bearish divergence. You have whale money flow, right? Which is to me the all be all. I want to swim with the whales, not against them, right? It's like a cheat code, right? Whales have been actively selling stable coins and buying back into Bitcoin. Okay, so they find it attractive, right? Even if Bitcoin did get a flush lower, it doesn't matter. The whales are allocating back into Bitcoin. It's undoubtedly, right? It's there. You're looking at it. RSI on the 2-week time frame, right? Bearish divergence here, same as it was in late 2022 in the bear market on USDT dominance, the same exact thing, right? What did I say to you? I posted this on Twitter the other day. It got a ton of likes. People liked it. But look, you got these 2-week time frame double tops forming on the LMACD for USDT dominance, the same way it did in the last few bear markets, right? It's the same thing over and over again. It's just, I don't know how else to put it. It's just not my opinion. It's not biasness. right? We play it for what it is. We just take what the data gives us and then we portfolio manage around that. And the facts is that the bear market is almost over. It is. You know what I mean? It's simple as that. Now, Bitcoin has to do some things in order to confirm that, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute, because that's what I actually really want to focus on in this stream is what actually needs to occur. And if you guys watch me closely, we talk about trend changes all the time, right? What does a true trend change look like? Well, I'm going to show you what that looks like here in a minute so that you can be like, okay, what if Bitcoin just dumps tomorrow and then that's the end? We're back in the bear market, right? So we don't want to get too excited here. We want to stay level-headed, stick with the plan, but I want to show you guys so that you can be educated on what it looks like if Bitcoin were to change its trend. So with that said, let's actually jump over to the Bitcoin chart here. And am I on the right chart? Yes, I am. I'm on the right chart here. We're going to go to the daily time frame, okay? Because what do I talk about when we talk about trend changes? We talk about what is the earliest time frame to identify a trend change in Bitcoin. It's the daily time frame. The 2-day time frame is the best time frame. However, you can use the daily time frame as your earliest indication as to whether a trend is changing. You guys, this is going to look very familiar to you all, okay? So, as you know, right? And let's start back in the previous bear market, right? So you guys can really get a good view. When Bitcoin goes into its bear markets, and we're just sticking with the daily, I don't think we need to go to the 2-day, but maybe we'll glance at it just so you can get a better look. But typically in Bitcoin's bear markets, it will fall below all of its key daily moving averages and its 21-week EMA and 20-week SMA, the bull market support band, you can call that, I guess. That's its name nowadays. That's literally the name of the indicator. That said, in a bear market, you typically come back up and start getting rejected on those key moving averages. Once those key moving averages show continued rejections, you then get legs lower, right? So that's what happened back in the early 2022 bear market. As the spring and summer went on, we kept legging lower. This was a ruthless bear market, right? Because we had a much different macro at the time. We had quantitative tightening. We had interest rates going up by 75 basis points every Fed meeting. We had inflation that was skyrocketing. The Fed was extremely hawkish, right? Earnings were contracting in the stock market. The stock market was collapsing. It was a much different scenario than it is now. Liquidity was being drained out of the markets. Literally the opposite from a macro standpoint of what we're experiencing now. Because what are we seeing now? Well, the Treasury announced that they're going to be doing their own form of quantitative easing. The balance sheet is not being reduced by the Fed at the current moment. Global net liquidity is on the rise. Manufacturing PMIs are moving higher into expansionary territory, not in contractionary territory, with interest rates that are pretty much just stable at the current moment. Then again, if you look at the yields, those are pretty elevated, but overall they're just in a range. They've been in a range for years now. So again, and earnings are just the best earnings we've ever seen, right, in the stock market. So there's a lot of liquidity sloshing around. That said, right, back in 2022, that wasn't the case. It was a very, very tough bear market. But again, from a trend perspective, you were coming up, you were getting rejected all the time on these daily moving averages. However, once the bear market was over, what truly changed the trend was when Bitcoin had escape velocity off of the lows, came back and tested its key moving averages after breaking out above them, held them multiple times, and then legged higher. That was the end of the bear market in 2023. That was very early 2023. No one believed it was the end, but it was the end, okay? That's when the trend had officially changed for good. Same thing happened back in the bear market in 2018, right? You kept coming up and getting rejected on your daily moving averages. You eventually had a massive leg down, but the moment you finally broke out above them and held them as support, and didn't even have to come back and hold them as support until a long time, the bear market was over. So you understand now, the earliest time frame you can use is the 1-day time frame to identify a trend change. That said, where are we right now? We haven't done that yet, okay? So while, we're feeling pretty good, right? Because I don't know what you guys are doing. I tell you what I'm doing. I've been DCAing back in. That said, that's what you want to see happen here if you want the bear market to truly give us the evidence we need of ending. We have the 2-week indicators on USDT dominance. We have the signals that show us that, okay, from a portfolio management perspective, it's attractive to start DCAing in. And those look great right now, right? I just showed you, they look amazing. However, what do we need? What more data do we need, right? We need more data, right? And more data requires that we change the trend. that would require that Bitcoin comes up, breaks these key moving averages with velocity, right? We just went over this, classes in session. Come up, break these moving averages, get them to start curling back to the upside like this. Okay, then you come back, retest them, right? Something like this. Come back, retest them, hold them as support, and then see that next move higher, right? Maybe even you get something like this, right? Some type of inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? We'll have to keep an eye on that. Don't you see how the artistic mastery ends up working on the charts? How we just basically showed you what it would take in order to end the bear market and change the trend, what the indicators look like on the higher time frames, and then we even speculated a little bit to show you like, oh, well, maybe we even form some type of pattern on the higher time frames over the next few months that show us, wow, there's some serious confirmation here. That's what you need to see, okay? If you're a bull and you want us to go up now, that's what you need to be looking for. If that doesn't occur, if this is just some type of pump on some treasury buying long-dated yield bonds back, oh, whoop-de-doo, quantitative easing from the treasury, right? Just some type of stupid summertime pump, it's going to fade away. Then we'll come up in here and we'll get rejected. Maybe we overshoot it a little bit and get people excited, right? Well, we broke the moving averages, but you don't see the escape velocity. And then you would end up rolling over, coming back down, and then entering into the 56 to 44K range, which is all in here, right? That would then be your per se, your bear market end of the year last flush lower. That it seems like that's the popular narrative at the moment. Seems like most people believe there's going to be one last flush. It would be in that range that we talk about. And that's totally possible too. Listen, totally possible. No one knows for certain what's going to happen. I'm just here to show you this is what the indicators look like. Here's how I'm managing my portfolio. And then this is what a true trend change would look like if it occurred, so that you have the understanding and knowledge to be like, okay, maybe it's not time to get super excited here yet. We still got work to do. And if it doesn't play out right now, that's where the range is to look at, which all in all, right, from these lows, if you were DCAing down here, it's about a 27, it's a 30% zone. It's a 30% zone. You know what I mean? And in which case, like me, for example, if I'm DCAing in there, if we went there and I was DCAing in there, by the time where I believe the lows would come in, maybe I'm down 10%, maybe I'm down 10, 11, 12%. I'm feeling really good at that point if we're going to head for a full-blown reversal, because I think Bitcoin's going way higher in the next cycle. I think we're going up into that, the 200K, 300K realm. You know what I mean? In which case, I'm going to see a very, very nice return, maybe 4, maybe 5x of some kind. And that's amazing, right? That's what we do. That's why we do this. And that's how I operate. That's how I look at the market. So as complicated as I may seem sometimes, you guys are like, man, Kev, too technical, man. Like, holy cow. I keep it simple, man. I keep it simple at the same time. There's no reason to overcomplicate things. So that's basically the breakdown of where we're at. I showed you USDT dominance on the higher time frames. I showed you the indicators that continue to look good. I gave you the scenario of what do we need to do to change the trend now so that you can get bullish, and what would happen if this was just some type of pump based off news and it fades away as we get closer to the midterms and we roll back over. And, then I gave you my opinion as to what opportunity that would provide too, right? It's a 30% range, all right? Very optimal for DCA. And that's just my opinion, right? That's what I would do. I'm not telling you what to do, right? The old financial advice thing. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I would do. And I show you guys what I do. Obviously in the Patreon, you guys see a live look at what I'm doing every single day. So that's it. That's all I got really to say when it comes to crypto. I don't have much else to say. There's really not much else to talk about. It's that simple. It's that simple. So with that said, let me look at the chat real quick and see what you guys got to say. Did you guys enjoy that breakdown just now? Tell me if you enjoyed the breakdown, let me know. Also, if you're new in here, like, subscribe, comment below, and reshare the stream, right? We want other people to be able to see this type of work so that they can learn, they can get better. And yeah, so let's take a look at the chat. Chunky says, what's up, Kev? Can you do me a quick favor? Click the cursor tool at the top of the toolbar, select magic, then click the chart a few times. Give me a minute on that one. I'm not sure. What did you say? Click the cursor tool at the top of the toolbar. Select magic. I don't know. I don't know what that is exactly, but let me think about it for a second. I don't want to act like I don't know what I'm doing here. Select the magic tool. Let's see. Phantom says, good morning, Kev. What's going on, man? What's happening? Is the action today just a squeeze or the start of something bigger? Well, we just went over it, so I hope that helped you out. Are you still looking for shorts here? No. I don't think I'm shorting Bitcoin anymore at this point. I mean, I don't see why. I already made 2 massive short trades this bear market. I don't really. It'd have to be like really obvious, you know what I mean? Like I'd have to see something really obvious that would make me want to short. But based how the higher time frames are looking, I'm pretty focused on DCA at this point. I don't really want to short anymore. I'm good. I don't want to like burn myself. You know, I already won twice and they were really big wins and I'm happy with that. Show me the magic. Wait, were you joking with me just now, bro? Oh my god, dude. Oh, the disappointment in the tone. Dude, I thought you were like, I'm like, man, what's Chunky talking about? Is he better at trading view than me now? Probably is. I don't know. Who knows? I still consider myself a trading view intermediate, to be honest. Some people are crazy advanced with trading view, man. I don't know. If I spent more time on it, I don't need, there's only so much you need to do. You know what I mean? Oh, the crosshairs at the top right here? Oh. Yeah, that's pretty, oh no. What am I doing now? Screwed up. Oh no, what's happening? I don't like that. You just broke my trading view. Ah, there we go. I like that better. It's the best feature, you're missing out. We'll go. Invite me to a Discord call and show me what you're talking about. We'll figure it out. You probably have unlocked some new magic that I need to know about and that I clearly don't know about right now. So, let's see. What do we got? Someone said something about the IGV. Do you think IGV or Bitcoin will have better gains? Well, I mean, the IGV against Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin as an individual asset would outperform the ETF. However, I do think individual stocks that make up the IGV will potentially perform better than crypto, yes. And I am building my portfolio around that. So, good question. Really good question. Who asked that? Dominic. Good question, my friend. What are your thoughts on Oh, my God. It was only a matter of time. I don't even think we should look at altcoins until Bitcoin changes its trend. But I mean, what do we, like, there you go. That's what Dogecoin looks like. I mean, that's it. It's just down here, chilling. It's chilling in the doghouse. Dogecoin. Yeah, I mean, I said this last time. I look at it as this is a good zone to DCA into Doge. If we were to break down below on some catastrophic news below this 2022 range, then maybe you'd have to rethink it. But yeah, I mean, it's down a lot from its highs, and if Bitcoin bottoms in the next however many days, weeks, months, whatever, then I see it as it has some good structure in here, right? I look at it as a pretty good opportunity for sure. So that's pretty much it. I don't really have much else to say beyond that. Just make sure that if you're a crypto investor, Bitcoin is your lead, is the captain of the team, right? Is the captain of the team. But yeah, anyone who's in the Patreon knows what I'm doing with Dogecoin. I'm keeping that pretty quiet. I have a Patreon for a reason, so I want to make sure that I keep a lot of things exclusive to to the people in there. So, but back to the king himself. Let's see. It would make Doge look great? A wave of TradingView magic. What? I don't want to be. I would do it, but I don't want to screw up on stream. Like I don't want to make it. I don't want to like spend time learning something while I'm streaming. Bitcoin's testing the 200-day SMA and EMA as we speak. So we got 69,000 to about 71.5. That's it. That's the big area. This is big. It's a big zone. So. Oh, Dominic says he's a long-term Patreon subscriber. That's why you ask good questions, because you're learning, man. I respect it. Good question, though. I really like that question. I think there's an insane... I'm just going to say this, right? I know a lot of people are just crypto investors only, and I just think that's, maybe you're forced to by where you live or whatever, but yeah, I mean, the opportunity in tech software right? And then the correlation to Bitcoin is just so insane. I think that some of these mid-cap tech software names that have an AI narrative and have just absolutely insane earnings are better plays than altcoins, right? And I've said that. I've said that for months now. And that's how I'm building my portfolio. It's less risky. You have earnings and fundamentals to back it up, an AI narrative, and they're mid-cap, right? Some of these companies have less market cap than a Dogecoin, right? It's like the upside is way greater and the downside risk is significantly lesser. I am all about that form of portfolio building in this bear market, and I think that's going to pay off for me massively, massively. And if you're into Patreon, they know that strategy I'm executing on and what plays I'm looking at. And yeah, I just think that's a home run way to go about it. Let's see. What are your thoughts on entering something else like a 2x or 3x long on BTC? Well, this is what I would say, right? You've seen me short Bitcoin from 97 to 60 and 79 to 63. How did I do that? Why? Where was that idea? What made me enter into those trades? I'm going to show you what made me enter into those trades right now. And I will do the same thing. The answer is yes, I will do the same thing. I will have a separate leverage long for the bull market, but I'm going to do it the same way I did it here. When did I short? When Bitcoin came up here and tested its moving averages and failed. I shorted again when Bitcoin came up here on a counter trend rally and failed. If Bitcoin breaks out with escape velocity at some point, which it will, and then comes back and retests like I showed you, I will enter into a long on that retest. That's how I do it. That's how I enter into leverage swing longs or leverage swing shorts. That's my strategy, and it works freaking amazing. So Dominic says he's up nicely on a couple plays. Very, very nice, man. I love it. Dude, look at ETH, man. Let's go to ETH. Ooh, oh my God. ETH's looking crazy right now. Currently testing big. It broke past the 200-day moving average. Currently testing the 2100. We'll call it 2100 to 2200 zone. 0.5 fib and the 200 EMA on the daily. Big moment, folks. This is big. Look at, right? Very similar to Bitcoin. Very similar to Bitcoin. I love ETH, man. ETH's going to be a killer this cycle. I already know it. Look at this. Look at this. All right. It's a similar situation, right? You want to change that trend. You got to get back above here with escape velocity. You got to break out. You got to come back and retest, right? Curl your moving averages higher. Okay. Come back and retest. Hold. Boom. Break out, right? Same thing you did back in the previous bear market. Same thing. Right? You constantly got rejected on these key moving averages, right? Take a look. But the moment you broke out, moment you had escape velocity, you consolidated, came back and retested and held, that was the end of the bear market. Okay? So it's literally the same thing, man. It's the same thing. So that's what we're looking at. We got to watch out for this. It's big stuff. I don't really see a reason to look at Doge versus ETH. That doesn't even make sense. You would want to look at Doge versus Bitcoin. But I mean, we'll look at Doge versus Bitcoin real quick. Where is it? It's in here somewhere. Doge versus Bitcoin. I don't know where you are anymore. Where are you? All right. No way. Where is it? It's in here. It's in here somewhere. There it is. Okay. All right. Oof, man. Yeah, that doesn't look very nice. Yeah, I mean, listen, man. I say it all the time. Bitcoin's a better hold, man. It just is what it is. Look at this, right? Like, this is your price action on Doge versus Bitcoin since 2021. Right? Like, there you go. It's underperforming. It underperformed Bitcoin the entire cycle. Now, hey, listen, will it catch a bid at some point and, pop up against Bitcoin? Of course it will. It will, right? And it'll be a big move. And it will happen. I think it'll happen bigger than the last cycle. But the question then becomes, is it just a situation where you're constantly forming lower highs, right? Does this structure continue? Right? Maybe you break out. You're going to break that at some point, I would imagine. But again, I don't know. I don't know for sure. I'm just saying that you in a situation where you're just forming lower highs against Bitcoin, in which case Bitcoin's a better hold. It just is, right? Me not saying that don't hold Doge, right? If you want to hold Doge, you want to buy some Doge, by all means. It's your money. You can do whatever you want. And I will do the same thing. But I mean the portfolio size, the portfolio weighting to each, right? You shouldn't have bigger bags of altcoins than Bitcoin. If you're a crypto investor, you need to get. This is how it used to be. Back in the old days, and it's great, it's not that, it's a stupid thing to say maybe, but back in the 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, even 2021, people held more Bitcoin than altcoins. Altcoins were secondary. Okay? That's the way it should be. But in the last cycle, everyone got away from that. Everyone started to think, oh, I got to have bigger altcoin bags because we're going to do 2021 all over again. That didn't happen, and everyone got wrecked, and that's why everyone's miserable. If you just had Bitcoin last cycle, you had a great cycle. It almost feels weird bragging about last cycle because no one had any Bitcoin and anyone had altcoins. They didn't sell them, and no one made any money. So again, like, I love certain altcoins. I really do. And I think they're going to kick ass. I really do. But it doesn't change the fact that they come with significantly more risk. October 10th exposed that to the maximum. And that the facts are is they continue to underperform Bitcoin. So it's like, it doesn't even make sense. It's not even like, oh man, it's a higher risk, but they outperform Bitcoin when they do. They don't. So I think there's a time and place for them. And I think the portfolio weightings need to be locked in appropriate. And if you're a crypto investor, Bitcoin should be your main, right? That's not controversial to say. I hope that's not controversial to say. I think that's just thinking like an adult, thinking smart, right? So yeah. And as it goes for altcoins, you buy them low and sell them high, right? Don't hold them if you're up 5-8x on altcoins in the next 12 to 18 months. I hope that happens for all of us. Sell them. Take the profits. All right. Let's see. Kev, according to you, we should buy Bitcoin first and then rotate. No. No, I don't think you should do that at all. No, I don't think so. Nope. No. Nope. Bitcoin. You can hold them both at the same time throughout a cycle. All right? Just manage your portfolio correctly, right? I mean, just manage your portfolio weightings correctly, okay? If you are a crypto investor and you have a certain amount of capital and you want to have 10% of your portfolio in Bitcoin and you want to have the other, 80% of it in a variety of different sectors in the stock market, then maybe 2 to 3% of the portfolio can be in your altcoin. Right? That's what I'm talking about. Like proper portfolio management. You don't need to have all this money in altcoins in order to make a lot of money. If they go, you know what I mean? Like, stop trying to get rich on an altcoin in one pump like that. Just do it the right way. You know what I mean? Just do it the right way. I don't want to see people get hurt, man. You know what I mean? And another thing is even when they don't get hurt and they make money on it, they don't sell. And then they just get addicted to holding it. That's why I say proper investing and trading and a way to still get rich, okay? I'm not rich. I've made a ton of money, life-changing gains in crypto over 2.5 cycles. I have never been overly heavy into altcoins. It's always been Bitcoin first. So you don't need to just be super heavy in altcoins. It's just insanely dangerous. Remember, the altcoins aren't going to go up unless Bitcoin goes up. You should own Bitcoin, right? You should want to buy Bitcoin so that it then supports your altcoin moving higher. I don't really want to talk about all that no more, though. I want to focus on the positive things. Kev, I'm considering. Yeah, man, you got to do what you want. My shorting for the bear market is over at this point, right? We're going into September. I don't want to be, monitoring all these different trades at this point, right? I've made great trades over the bear market, 2 big shorts. At this point, I'm very focused on the long term and focusing on, what I want to do from a buying perspective. And let's see. WMF is moving down. I don't know what that is. Weekly money flow? Weekly money flow? I don't know. I mean, you're going to have flat money flow at this current moment. And yeah, it's flat. It's negative, but it's flat. Okay. So if you look at some of the smaller time frames here, money flow is actually moving up. Okay. If you look at the 3-day time frame on Bitcoin, money flow is moving higher. All right. That will eventually leak in to the weekly time frame. So remember something, right? Sometimes money flow may be lagging on the higher time frames, but if you go to the shorter time frames, you start to see a different picture. So yeah, just keep an eye on. Money flow is looking better, right? Look at the whale money flow on the 2-week time frame. Okay. Whale money flow is ticking up on Bitcoin. Okay. Right. And also on ETH, right? 2-week whale money flow moving up. Got a pending LMACD cross coming. And also, where's USDT dominance, right? We went over this. Look at the whale money flow on USDT dominance, right? Exiting very fast. So yeah, we went over that. That's what's occurring. That's what the whales are doing. So I don't make the rules. It's just what they're doing, which is a big deal. It should not be ignored at all. All right. I don't have much time. I got to get moving here. I just wanted to hop on and give you guys, I really wanted to give you a breakdown of USDT dominance, what we've been talking about, but also what you need to see in order for a true trend change to occur. Okay, I don't want to bury myself in talking about too many other things. If you have any questions about any stocks, right, that we've been looking at, let me know. I don't really want to talk about the altcoins like that because they're just not worth talking about when Bitcoin is still going through this process, okay? When Bitcoin is done going through this process, we know the bottom is in for sure, we know a new bull market is starting, then we can talk about the altcoins, but I don't really think they're not really, important to talk about at the moment. They're too wishy-washy, they're too tied to Bitcoin. There's no way, you know what I mean? If we just talk about Bitcoin if we want to talk about the alts. That's it. Do I think some of them are in good DCA spots? Yes. The answer is absolutely I do. That's what I would say. With proper portfolio management and proper allocation sizing. That's it. Did I miss MSTR net? You don't even need to analyze MicroStrategy. Just analyze Bitcoin. Yeah, no, Chunky, listen. Hop in a call with me. Message me and say, hey, Kev, you know me. I'll make time anytime if you need me. We'll hop in a call and you show me what you're talking about so that I can next time I hop on stream, then I'll know what I'm doing. Appreciate it though, brother. Zeta alternative? Why? Why would you want an alternative? There is no alternative. I mean, I wouldn't even say there is. If there is one, I don't know about it. So that's what I would say. Maybe ask Grok or Gemini or something. Is there an alternative to Zeta? Company that does something similar. I don't really know. But yeah, I wouldn't take an alternative. I would just go with Zeta. I think Zeta, it's kind of hard to have an alternative too because are the fundamentals the same? Is the market cap the same, right? Free cash flow, operating margins, gross margins, revenue, is the success the same? It's really going to be hard to find an exact alternative if it exists. So I'm going to be so disappointed. No disappointment, brother. No disappointment. All right, guys, listen, I got to hop off, man. I don't want to, though. I don't want to, but I have to. I have a life just like you guys. I got to get moving. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. I hope it answered questions, right? If you need to go back to the beginning, watch the beginning, right? We just talked about a bunch of really good stuff. I gave you the exact breakdown of what we're looking at on the higher time frames, and what you need to see in order to see a trend change. It's such a tongue twister. I appreciate you guys watching too. We had a pretty decent amount of viewers, man. It just goes to show that, let's see if we can get some good price action going here in the coming 6 to 12 months. And, if the viewers go up, it's fun to stream because a lot of people start talking, asking questions, and I can chit chat all day. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. I hope you all have a nice day. I got to get running. Enjoy the summer, man. Enjoy the summer. Enjoy today's price action, right? We still got work to do. But make sure you get out there and enjoy some of the days. Remember, right, even though this is happening right now, and again, there's way more work that needs to be done, so I don't want anyone out there getting overly excited yet. we are typically entering into the most seasonally weak period for markets, that being September, latter half of August, September, and even October can traditionally be very weak in midterm election years. So let's just kind of this is a little unusual. We're seeing at the exact moment, but it's not unheard of, right? We've seen pumps in July and August in the last bear market too. Watch the trend. That's it. That's how I'll leave you. Just watch these moving averages, watch the trend. Don't get excited on anything until we break out and retest them. That's when you'll know for sure. Even if we broke out with velocity, you can get excited. Until then, right, you're still in a downtrend, okay? Still in a downtrend. So just be safe, be smart.